let's use a proportion to solve percentage problems. A percent is many things. It represents a fraction, it represents a rate, and it represents a ratio. For example, 3% is the same as 3 out of 100. Since we can express it as a ratio, we can also use it in a proportion. Here's an example of a statement about a percentage. Let's see if we can put it into our general formula. 12 is 20% of 60. Here's how this works. The percent is always out of 100, and we set that equal to some part, which usually is located by the word is, out of the whole thing, which usually is near the word of. So if we translate this statement, 12 is the is, 60 is the of, so we've got 12 out of 60 is equal to 20%, which we write as a ratio. And since this is a statement, this is not a problem with any missing parts, we should be able to verify it by cross-multiplying. So if you multiply here, we get 1200, and across here, same thing. Now let's use it to solve for a missing piece. When you see the word what, that means that's the missing piece. So we're going to let x be what, and we've got 17%, and the of is 60. So we've got x out of 60, and we set it equal to 17 over 100. Notice I just flipped the order of our proportion. That doesn't matter at all because I have equals in between. And then you cross multiply and solve. That's 1020. And that's equal to 100x. Solve. So x in this case is equal to 10.2. We look back at the original problem to make sure that's not supposed to be a percentage. It's not. What is 17% of 60? 10.2 is 17% of 60. So that's our final answer. There's another way to look at this problem. If we treat 17% as a decimal rate instead of a fraction out of 100, we can multiply by 60 because of the of. Remember, of always means time. And we get the exact same answer when we multiply those. So you can either treat the percentage as a rate or a ratio. You're going to get the same answer either way. This has to do with you choosing what your first instinct is and following through with it. Or if you'd like to use the same method every time, the proportion method works consistently. Let's try it in a few more examples. Okay, so each time we're looking for the percentage and is out of the of, so we can set up our proportion. In this case, we've got 42 is what percent of 48? And there's your proportion, and you solve for the missing piece. You may want to reduce this fraction, 42 out of 48, to make the whole thing into smaller numbers. I love doing that. I'm going to divide them both by 6. So this is really 7 out of 8. And now proceed with the normal kind of solving. So we've got 8x equals 700, and solve for x. In this case, we get 87.5, and that is a percent, because that's what we're solving for right here. Let's try one more example and use that same proportion. Diana made 18 free throws, which was about 32% of her attempts. How many attempts did she make? The is over of is not quite as laid out for you. You just have to use your brain and think about it. 18 free throws out of attempts. So that makes this the is, and how many, which means x, is the of right there. The percentage is 32%. So we've got 32 out of 100 should be equal to 18 out of our unknown amount. Now notice that it says it was about 32%, which means 32% has been rounded off. So we may not get a whole number, but we're looking for a whole number, so we're going to round off our answer. Okay, let's try it. So if we cross multiply, we've got 32x is equal to 1800. Solve for x. I get 56.2825, excuse me. But remember I said if this is attempts in basketball, we really want the closest whole number. It looks like there were 56 attempts, and don't forget your units. So there are several examples using this proportion with a percent in it, and you'll find that your homework is full of them, so go try those.